Good evening and happy Ramadan to you all, and welcome to tonight's news bulletin brought to you live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The completion rate of the water pipeline project in the Governorate of Al-Dakhiliya reached 48%. The Hujurat project for housing construction is launched in the Wilaya of Manah. And the Sultanate of Oman, represented by the Environment Authority, participates in the 24th meeting of the GCC Committee of Ministers responsible for environmental affairs. Thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq sends a cabal of greetings to His Excellency President Macky Sall of Senegal on his country's National Day. The completion rate of the projects to enhance the water pipeline in the Governorate of Al-Dakhiliya reached 48%. The implementation of the projects comes in response to the increasing demand for water in Dakhiliya Governorate and to achieve water security. It is expected that the trial operation of the projects will start in the year 2023. The new pipeline project is implemented along a distance of 174 kilometers starting from the main water pump in Al Khouth in the Wilaya of Asib and passing through the wilayas of the Governorate of Al-Dakhiliya. The Hujurat projects for housing construction was launched in the Wilaya of Manah in the Governorate of Al-Dakhiliya. The charitable project aims to provide housing units for families with limited income and comes within the framework of the partnership between the government and civil community institutions in adopting such projects. The project is one of the initiatives of the Manah charity team to serve the community. The inauguration was held under the auspices of His Excellency Dr. Khalfan bin Saeed al-Shuaili, Minister of Housing and Urban Planning. The Sultanate of Oman, represented by the Environment Authority, participated in the 24th meeting of the GCC Committee of Ministers responsible for environmental affairs. The meeting reviewed the importance of strengthening joint cooperation and coordinating plans that aim to deal with climate change and achieve sustainability. The meeting also discussed non-tariff restrictions related to environment in addition to eliminating plastic pollution. It is as well discussed Gulf Environmental Portal and cooperations with the United Nations Programme on Climate Change. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Dr. Abdullah bin Ali Al-Amri, Chairman of Environment Authority. His Excellency Dr. Abdullah bin Ali Al-Amri, Chairman of the Environment Authority, stated that Sultanate of Oman participation in the 24th meeting of the GCC Committee of Ministers responsible for environmental affairs comes to emphasize in its attention over environment issues in the regional and international levels. He as well added that the meeting represents a valuable opportunity for the Sultanate to exchange opinions and viewpoints on environment issues enlisted in the agenda. The Governor of Al-Dakhiliya met with Their Excellencies members of the Shura Council, representatives of the Governorate's wilayas. The meeting discussed the service and development projects to implement to be implemented in the wilayas of Ibri, Yonqal and Dhang. It is emphasized the importance of communications and coordination between the Governor's office and members of the Shura Council within the framework of the complementary roles in the development aspects. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Najib bin Ali Al-Rawas, Governor of Al-Dhahira, and this was in the Governorate of Al-Dhahira and not Al-Dakhiliya, as stated by me. An investment symposium was held in the Wilaya of Mudaybi in the Governorate of North Al-Sharqiya on the promising investments in the Wilaya in various economic, industrial, mining, tourism and other development sectors. The symposium comes in line with Oman Vision 2040 and the comprehensive urban strategy for urban planning in the Sultanate of Oman. The first work paper discussed programs of governorates, development ambitions and abilities. The second work paper discussed Mudaybi Industrial Estate and the available investment opportunities. Due to the importance of the partnership between the private and government sectors in attracting investment opportunities, logo of one of the community companies was launched, which will contribute in developing the private sector in the wilaya and will provide a number of jobs vacancies. 9 bodies representing the regulatory and financing aspects participated in business forum in the governorate of Al Buremi. The forum is an open meeting between the participated bodies and the representatives of business environment. The forum discussed the industrial sector and the facilities provided by the government. Each of the participating bodies gave presentations on the start of the new project investment opportunities and how to support the small and medium enterprises. 5 financing institutions reviewed their facilities provided to the small and medium enterprises who faced challenges during the previous period. And now for the international news. Pakistan's president dissolved the parliament today, setting the stage for early elections after the prime minister sidestepped on no confidence move earlier in the day. Imran Khan asked President Arif Alvi to dissolve the National Assembly or lawmaking lower house or parliament, accusing his political opposition of working with the United States to overthrow his government. Pakistan's constitution calls for the establishment of an interim government to see the country towards elections, which are to be held within 90 days. The battle between Khan and cricket star turned conservative Islamic leader and his political opposition has mired the nation in political turmoil. An explosion in the center of the Afghan capital, Kabul, today wounded at least 15 people. It wasn't immediately clear what caused the blast, and no one immediately claimed responsibility. Taliban authorities didn't immediately comment. A witness said that the explosion happened inside a market where money changers operate. The market was closed immediately after the explosion and Taliban security surrounded the area. The blast was the first in the Afghan capital in months. Afghanistan's Taliban rulers have stepped up security throughout most of the country since sweeping to power in August. The hypermarket in the Ukrainian city of Zaporizhzhia has become a staging post for some 60,000 people fleeing southeastern parts of the country. Most have spent days attempting to make it to the safety of Zaporizhzhia, their first stop in Ukrainian-controlled territory. For many, arriving in the car park manned by police and volunteers is overwhelming after weeks spent living in the ruins of their cities. Conditions remain dire in the strategic port city and prospects for escape uncertain. The surrounded city, which has been brutalized by some of the war's worst attacks, reported weeks ago that water, food, fuel and medicines were running out. About 1,000 or 100,000 people are believed to still be there, less than a quarter of the city's pre-war pollution or population of 430,000. The Zaporizhzhia local government has also stepped in to help those in need, sending buses to evacuate 2,000 people from the Russian-occupied city of Bryansk. COVID-19 story. COVID-19 cases in China's largest city of Shanghai are still rising as millions remain isolated at home under a sweeping lockdown. Health officials today reported 438 confirmed cases detected over the previous 24 hours, along with 7,788 asymptomatic cases. Shanghai was conducting citywide COVID-19 antigen testing today and nucleic acid testing tomorrow. The daily case numbers are some of the largest city or since the virus was first detected in the central city of Wuhan in late 2019. Shanghai, with its 26 million people, last week began a 2-stage lockdown with residents of the eastern Pudong section supposed to be allowed to leave their homes Friday, while their neighbors in the western Puxi section underwent their own 4-day isolation period. Notices delivered delivered to residents said they were required to self-test for COVID-19 daily and take precautions including wearing masks at home and avoiding contact with the family members. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The completion rate of the water pipeline project in the governorate of Dakhiliya reached 48%. The Hujarat project for housing construction is launched in the Wilayah of Manah. And the Sultanate of Oman, represented by the Environment Authority, participates in the 24th meeting of the GCC Committee of Ministers responsible for environmental affairs. Ramadan Mubarak. May Allah shower His countless blessings during the holy month of Ramadan and always to our country and the whole world. With that, we come to an end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night and stay healthy. Once again, we'd like to remind each and everyone our news bulletin will be at 8 p.m. daily during the month of Ramadan. Good night.